You're listening to Mindful Manifesting. This is Ariana Rollins, and I'm so glad you're here. So if you would like to take the best of SMART goals and tap into some of the power of manifesting and visualization, I would love to invite you to get your free gift of Kickstart Your Manifesting Journey. And you can go to highertrueself.com. It's right on the homepage. All right. Let's dive into today's episode, and it's something that I will admit I've wondered about for many years. I had a best friend, and sadly he left his body in 2016 and left a huge gap in my life. And he said, you're so competent, you're so on it and efficient and disciplined. And I really never thought about it. It was just that's who I am, right? I mean, some people say it could be that my human design chart is a manifester, and who knows if that's part of it, maybe. I'm going to have to do a whole episode on human design. It's something I've studied for, over a decade now, and I do find it fascinating. Okay, so discipline. What is discipline? And is discipline or determination what we need to succeed at our intentions or be successful at manifesting or accomplishing our goals? Which one is better, or do you need both? That's exactly what we're talking about today on the podcast. So let's dive into first a definition of discipline. And this is my definition. This is not a dictionary. Doing what needs to be done, whether one likes to or not. So discipline. Doing what needs to be done, whether you like it or not. That's discipline. So an example could be, I like a healthy, strong, fit body. So I lift weights 3 times a week, and I eat primarily a vegetarian diet, about 70% vegetarian. And I do yoga 3 times a week, and I am in movement because I feel good with a flexible, strong body. Now, is that discipline? I would say initially it probably was, because when I first started lifting weights back in 2021, I didn't want to go. I only wanted to go twice a week, didn't want to go 3 times a week, and it was hard. I remember coming back to my home and walking up 3 flights, and my legs, I didn't know if I could do it. They were in such pain. So initially I would say discipline, because I didn't have the vision of a strong, fit body. I had a very sore body, and it was a little bit flabby. It didn't feel good. It didn't look good. But then let's bring in determination. Was I determined? Did I have a strong, I don't know, what would you say, purpose or compulsion to be strong and fit? No, not really. I wasn't determined because I didn't have this, I gotta be strong and fit. It was more that over time, I saw the benefit that I could carry water bottles up 3 flights, heavy 3-gallon water bottles easily without a breath. And that I started to observe that I had more energy and well-being than a lot of people, my age. And I was like, oh, this is feeling good. So I started to get feedback. I think this is important. Feedback from my discipline. My disciplined actions. It gave me feedback. I was feeling good. I was starting to see the effects in the mirror when I was getting dressed. And that feedback affirmed my choices. I felt good. But again, it wasn't determination. I wasn't determined. So let's now talk a little bit about determination and being determined. So I'll go back to one of my really good friends. I went to visit her in Asheville, North Carolina last spring. And one of the things that I noticed about her, she would set her mind to something. Like, for example, she was doing, I think it was a series of I don't know, it seemed like a lot, like 21 different videos on mindset and habits. And I saw her doing this like unbelievable amount of time recording these videos. And they were brilliant. Sometimes I would listen out in the next room. I was like, oh, that's a good one about getting my taxes done and not doing an extension. I got a lot out of it. So as I was viewing her, and I've known her for a long time now, I started to really admire her determination. And that when she sets her mind to something, she will not stop until she completes it. That's how I see determination. It's different. It's not a daily thing. It's, I've got this intention, I've got this project, I've got this goal, I've got this thing that I want to bring into the world, and I am determined no matter what to do it. Are you starting to see the difference between discipline and determination? So my really good friend said, Ariana, you're so disciplined. And I said, Rihanna, you're so determined. We both saw the best in the other. Isn't that beautiful? Now, did I want more determination? We always want what we don't have, right? And did she want more discipline? Yeah, we always want what we don't have. So discipline or determination, let's talk about that. Which helps most in manifesting and being successful at it? Well, now, this is a really good question. And as I speak this out, I'm really thinking about it. Which one is the most important, or is it a combination of both? Okay, you ready for it? It's a combination of both. Discipline and determination. I'll go back to how I have guided people through the Highest Potential program over 25 times now, for a long time. I think my first one was 2005. Is that at first there is a vision of what they want to accomplish. They go through step by step to become really clear exactly what they want, and removing any extraneous things, removing duplicate objectives. A lot of people come to this work and they don't realize that they have set up contradiction within themselves. I'll give you an example. So someone wants to generate at least $15,000 this month in income while working less than 10 hours a week. Okay. Now, you're like, oh, that's a nice criteria. I'd like that. But what happens in your unconscious mind is that it creates a push and pull. What's most important? Generating $15,000 a month or working 10 hours or less? The one that is most important is going to get the energy and the focus and the attention. So if it is really important to cut back on working, then the income is going to be a second priority. Are you starting to see this? And so what will happen is that your body, as the storehouse of your unconscious mind, the doer part is going to focus on removing extraneous activities, which could be really good. And you've got a higher quality of life. You're working less. But what that also could mean is that you're not responding to those emails, or you're not planning what would be most effective for your business this year, and what would be products to create, launches to schedule, because the focus is reducing your workload, which sometimes is, really important, but it's going to do this push-pull effect. So in what we do in the Highest Potential program is we focus on that one intention, and then all of your energy, your determination is focused on accomplishing that. But the really cool thing is that in this Highest Potential work is that you're not using willpower alone to accomplish it. You're not having to push past any resistance that comes up, because the resistance is the gift. I know that may not sound like you're like, no way, it isn't. But resistance informs you that you've got a pattern, a habit, a way of thinking or being that has been undermining your success. So finding that resistance and clearing it, which we call clearing, like blocking energy, it's either a habit or a thought or emotion that's taking you away from what you want. So we start with determination. We're determined this is what we want to accomplish, and we use specific techniques to actually inform our unconscious mind. This is what we're focused on, guys. This is where we're going. This is what it's going to look like. This is what we want. And it's in vivid 3D detail. So it's how do we feel when we've accomplished it? What's going on? What is the movie scene like? What are we seeing? What are we hearing? Are we being hugged by a loved one? What's the kinesthetic point, aspect? So that's the determination. We know where we're going. We know why we want it. We know the endpoint date. Well, sometimes we do set it where it's in right timing, right action, but I won't bring that in terms of complexity. So that's the determination. We know where we're going. So then let's move on to the discipline. And this is where, in the highest potential work, is we are using a gentle combination of determination and discipline to accomplish what can feel nearly impossible. You've tried it many times before, but you have been disappointed or you failed. Quotes around it, because we always learn and grow from failures, often more from our successes. So discipline, that would mean turning up and doing the work, watching the video, applying the exercises, doing the practice process. So you're checking in. Do I have a blocker running? Am I on track? Do I have any intuitive messages to take action on? So that's the discipline. And the determination, you are tapping into that as well, because you're committing. You're reaffirming your commitment to that intention, that objective, that goal. So it's a beautiful combination of discipline and determination. So as we start to wrap up, I want to address this willpower, because willpower is important. But what has been happening in the self-development and personal growth arena for too long is that we are pushing past our normal, healthy balance. So if we use willpower alone, that can exhaust us. It could run down our immune system, burn out our adrenal glands, which, by the way, I've worked with people who have been so determined and they did not have the discipline in terms to support themselves, healthy well-being and body and mind. They've burned themselves out, and they've created thyroid conditions, adrenal exhaustion, and autoimmune issues. So determination on its own can really damage us. So using willpower in a force it and Nike do it anyway is a terrible way to take care of ourselves. It's abuse of our body. And when you start to get 40, 50, 60, that abuse is going to start to turn up. And then, of course, people say, oh, it's just a natural side effect of aging. No, it's not. It's how we've used our body, which is why I love in the highest potential work is that we're addressing all of it. We're addressing our mind, our body, our soul, or spirit, as you'd like to say, and we're creating that harmony, that congruence before we go forward. So we're using that gentle dance of determination. This is what I want, but it needs to happen in ways that are for the highest good of me and of all involved. So important. We call that our insurance statement. So, manifesting success, is it discipline or determination? Well, my friends, it's a combination of both. But if I were to choose, I would say discipline. If I had to choose one over the other, because I know that disciplined activity, the daily actions that I take, I set myself up for success. I meditate, I take the dog out. Then I go to the gym or I do yoga. Then I do my spiritual reading. Then I do my practice process, whatever objective I'm working on. And I can condense that. I mean, sometimes it could take me, all of that could take me 2 hours. I can condense it down into 45 minutes or an hour, depending on what my day is like. So my discipline is fluid, and I can contract and I can expand depending on what's needed in the day. That's true discipline. So say, for example, that I didn't have the time to do a full meditation, or I had to skip it. I actually had to skip it on Friday, and that's very unusual for me. But I did it later at night. It wasn't as good because I was tired and I kind of fell asleep, but at least I did it. Again, you see, that's discipline. That's discipline. And so discipline will get me there in the long haul. Determination is just one part, but without discipline, it hurts us. All right, so I hope you enjoyed this episode. And as we start to wrap up, I would love it if you would give a review on the podcast. Maybe follow it, like it, subscribe, whatever it's called, and give a review. It really helps other people get this work. All right, so as we conclude, remember, as you confirm yourself, you chart your own path to success in right timing and right action. So much love. I appreciate you, and make it a great day.